Well, hello everybody, it's Brian and we're back. We're back for a quick little demonstration, not really a tutorial, more of a demonstration. Mile High Model Builder had asked how we go about doing the rust job on our headers and stuff. So I have some parts laid out here from the AMT Chevy C15 Sport Side, C1500, excuse me, Sport Side truck. We were in the process of building this one for the Build My Ride group build that was going on back earlier this year. And sadly, we had to put everything on hold because we were waiting for parts to come in for that kit, and it was taking a little while. So we decided that we're just going to move that one to the end of the year, to the beginning of next year, I should say. So I have done a little bit to the truck, but not a whole lot. Everything's off the parts trees and cleaned up. So this is a good opportunity to get started back on that kit again, and also show Mile High Model Builder kind of like the process that we use. And what we're going to use is we're going to start off with some Tamiya red oxide primer. Now, I've been told that this isn't available everywhere in the country. I know for certain that Hobby Lobbies don't have this particular shade of primer color. So I get this from my local hobby store guy. And he he says, well, just last week I went in there to get some more, and he's like, I only carry like one can of this a month, and it's for you. You're the only guy that buys this stuff. And I was like, well, what a pity, but thanks just the same. So we're going to do our base coat with that there, and then once that cures up, we're going to give it a light dusting, as much of a light dusting as you can, with TS42 light gunmetal. And judging by the sound of that, I'm going to have to go back to see my friend at the hobby store there pretty soon. And then once the gunmetal is cured up, we're going to go back over everything with a liberal coating of panel liner accent color brown from Tamiya. So here's my philosophy. When you're using a particular product, I like to stay in the family. I know there's a lot of us out there that do have that same philosophy, and it really reduces the risk factor when it comes to doing multiple layers of things. So with that disclaimer, we're going to put everything on little pins and then head out to the spray booth, also known as the garage. So hang on. Right, so we got all of our little parts onto little clips, and there we go. So there's just big enough lugs on the little parts to actually put clips onto, so that's good. They're kind of chunky, and that'll work out just fine. There's a crossover tube, and then way back there in the background is the last manifold piece. So we're going to head out to the garage, also known as the spray booth, and take care of all this. All right, so now that we're all set up in the garage with a tripod and all that fun stuff, we're going to do our crossover pipe, and we've been shaking up our stuff here pretty good. Last couple of shakes there, and we're already gloved up too. There we go. So there we go. Good looking shots. Do that on camera there, silly. There we go. Doesn't got to be pretty. Just getting the point across. Okay. That's covered fairly well. Now it's covered fairly well. There we go. So yeah, that's looking pretty cool. And then what's kind of funny about this particular kit is that it has molded in the crimping from the bending that they would do on these tubes. So I had to be careful not to clean that off when I was actually cleaning everything up. So it does look a little glossy. And that's what's kind of funny about this particular primer, is it does have a little bit of a sheen to it. So we're going to let that go ahead and set up while we go ahead and shoot the other pieces. So here's one of the manifolds. And no, I'm not wearing a mask right now, but I do have a fan pointed at my back, so everything is blowing away from me. There we go. That looks good. And now, let's do the Cadillac converter. If it's a Cadillac converter, what is it converted into? Probably a Pontiac. I don't know, people can't pronounce that to save their lives sometimes. Okay, I'm no linguist, but that's I know that's not right. There we go. There's our catalytic converter, complete with bits of dust in it. Yay, dust. All right, so that's that. And now for the big pipes here. So I'm doing this one all the way around. So I'm not 100% sure how visible it's going to be once it's under the truck. Do all that. I'm not worried about the tips because if I do end up using this exhaust system, I'll sleeve these with some aluminum tubing. That's the plan. But the truck that I had actually had dual exhaust coming out underneath the rear bumper. So I might end up cutting this right back there off the muffler and then doing my own exhaust from there, because that's basically how that truck was. So that's good enough for now. And our last manifold. Manny the manifold. It's interesting, having the fan blowing from behind me, I can't even smell this stuff. That's pretty awesome. There we go. So we're going to give this a few minutes to set up, and then we'll go back and hit it with the TS42 gunmetal. So hang on. Alrighty, so it has been about 20 minutes and stuff is set up pretty nicely. As we can see, it still has a little bit of that sheen to it and everything. Not to worry. We're not going to worry about that because the next two steps will take care of that. So let's get started. We started off with our crossover pipe. So let's move into that. A little bit of a shake there. And then we're using our TS42 light gunmetal. There we go. Nice dramatic shot right there. All right. I hope I have enough to do all this. So I have the can, I'm going to guess about 10 inches away from the part. Okay. And we are just dusting it. Quite literally, just dusting it. Okay. Just to give a little bit of a metallic hint here and there. That is it. That's the whole trick. Okay. So let's move on to the next part. Next is another one of the manifolds. Okay, so holding it way out there, about 10 inches or so. Oops, pointing the wrong direction. It's like the breath mint in Dumb and Dumber. Okay. Just a little bit of a hint. I keep doing that. Silly person. There we go. Just a little bit of a metallic hint over that rust primer, that red oxide primer. So that's it. Okay. And then let's do the catalytic converter. Now usually catalytic converters aren't rusty, I don't remember, but I'm probably going to mask that off and repaint it anyways. So we're just going to hit that pipe. Okay, so there we go. That's it. That's it, man. That's it. Okay. What's funny is I have the fan blowing from behind me, so I actually have to hold the can away a little bit farther than I normally do, because the paint's traveling really, really well. Oh, he's dying. The can is dying. Here we go. Just giving it that nice little metallic hint. And then our last piece, which is the passenger side manifold. There we go. I like that. That's nice. That's good. Looks good. The camera doesn't like it, but I like it. There. So we're going to give this another, I don't know, 20 minutes to set up again, and then we'll come back for the panel liner bit. Right, so it's been approximately another 20 minutes, and we are now in the spray booth. I have the garage door open because this stuff can get pretty smelly. So it's an enamel-based product, according to what the sides of this say, and we're not supposed to use it on other enamels, and they are correct. I've used that over testers enamels, and it does affect it. But because everything on the Tamiya stuff, either some sort of acrylic or acrylic lacquer or something like that, this stuff doesn't bother it. That's why we want to stay in the family. And my voice will sound weird because, yes, I am in the spray booth. Okay, so good and shaky. And yes, we're going to hear cars drive by. I apologize because it's coming home time around here. All right, so let's grab this manifold from back there. The one I named Barry manifold. Okay, so that's got that light coat of the light gunmetal on there. And now we're going to apply good coatings of this guy. Now, it's probably not going to want to stay in focus since I don't have a third hand handy. And we're going to put this on all sides except the inside. I apologize for being blurry, guys. Good. There, that's good. Let's take a look now. Okay, so that's nice and blurry. Thank you, modern technology. All right, so now once this starts to dry up, it will get nice and dull. As long as this has been shaken up properly, it'll get nice and dull. Otherwise, it'll have a sheen to it. Okay, so we're going to go on to other bits, and we'll put that guy back there. Let's move to this guy. We'll go anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise. Let's move this out of the way. Maybe if I give it nothing to look at, it will focus on what I want it to. There we go. And swab it on. So I've seen other guys use, like when they're doing large areas, they just get a paintbrush, an old paintbrush, and just dip it in the bottle rather than use the little needle thin guy here. And I have done that before, like when I work on my Millennium Falcon kit. You need to cover some surface area, and that thing's just a little too small. So let's see here, a bit of a piece of paper towel. Just gonna dab off a little bit of excess. You see how that's starting to already dry up a little bit? Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So, on to the next bit. We'll do this guy. Oh, got stuck. There we go. All right, cool. So we're just going to swab them. Go. Comes a nice loud car. I wonder if it's my nephew. Nope. Strangely enough, that was a Prius. Okay, so just going to dab off a little excess here and there. So, see how that's looking? Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. Oh, did you see that one? That one just jumped off there. Crazy. Now for the crossovers. If I had any editing skills or ability, I would cut all this out and put in a nice montage mode with some snappy music and some girls in bikinis. But you just have to listen to me for a few moments. And now for the last. Go. Pretty nice out today. It is running almost 68 degrees. In the sunlight, it's a little bit warmer. So it's been real nice. Me and Kowalski were out cruising today and having some fun. Our 2018 Dodge Challenger. And found out going through the... we have roundabouts now here and there. Going through roundabouts with the traction control system off is a lot of fun and scary as hell. So we're not going to tell Mrs. BG about that part. So there. So we're going to give these a little bit longer to dry. Well, actually, the catalytic converter is actually getting pretty close. Let's give them a lighter color background. There we go. So you see that? See how it's kind of dulling up and everything? Now, without doing anything else other than this quick little three-step process, this will have a very nice effect. If I was going to do anything else on this, I think I would, depending on how dirty and grimy we want to do the car, I would consider doing like a black wash over everything for oily stuff. And again, that would be another one of these, but in the black. So we're going to give that some time to set up, and then we'll go back inside the house so we can have a controlled videoing atmosphere. But in the meantime, here's a picture of a very cool looking car. All right, so we're back in the hobby room under controlled circumstances now. And here is our passenger side manifold. That looks really, really good. And it's not 100% dry yet. It's still got a little bit of a sheen to it. So if it's a little too heavy, you don't like what's going on, a little bit of a Q-tip, a little bit of a burnishing with that. We can get a little bit more of that off, and that lets a little more of the metallic color come through. Especially on these really nicely molded ones where there's a nice texture on the manifold, that really helps out. So that's the passenger side one. Here's the driver side one. Now this one, we got a little bit heavier with the metallic paint, so I'm not going to have to burnish that one down at all. I'm just going to let that one coast, as it were. The catalytic converter. It was a little bit of a puddle in this little hole right here, so we just dabbed it out with a cotton swab, and that's looking really cool too. I might just leave it like that. It's looking really good. And then crossover pipes. I know that these are supposed to get like mega hot on the cars, so I'm going to go ahead and just leave that rusty as all get out. There we go. So that's looking really slick. And then the main exhaust pipes and muffler. So that looks good. So the texture shows up on there. There was no texture on the actual part, but the misting of the metallic paint that we did on there kind of gave it a little bit of a texture, and then we just swabbed over that. You can see a little bit of it's still wet along that edge there, but the panel liner really enhances that texture that's on there and brings that out. But that's basically it, man. And if we want to go in and do some heat staining and stuff, there's all kinds of ways of doing that. I have some Tamiya heat staining powders that are very, 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 very light. They don't do a lot, so they're probably better for more like a chrome type of situation or whatever. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. Thanks for the question, Mile High Modeling. Excuse me, Mile High Modeler. Thank you for the question. I hope this helps out. I know I wrote a big long thing about how to do this and everything, but I really hope that this demonstration of how to apply this stuff gives you an idea on how you want to try attacking your builds. All right, everybody, take it easy, and we'll talk to you a little bit later. Bye now.